Hey, how's it going? So I just really quickly wanted to talk about John 1 because I think it's a super revelatory passage, and I think it is kind of, I mean, it's just so every time I read it, I'm just taken about aback by how beautiful it is. Um, and it's a very, very meaningful passage that's just touched me every time I've read it. So I just wanted to quickly go through it. Um, and try to understand what it means. And so basically, the first sentence of this passage is, "In the beginning was a word, and the word was with God, and the word was God." So let's try to understand this. And so in the beginning was a word, and the word was with God. The word was with God, but the word was God. And so we read this and we're like, okay, what does this even mean? Why are we even doing this analysis? But I think it's super important to understand that before anything is perceived, so here, before anything is perceived, it is the word. So let's try to understand from like an information theory point of view. Okay, what are the properties of words? Well, words have meaning. That is the first attribute of word in language. Is that has meaning. It also has function. So the world gets manipulated through words. Contracts get written, marriages get made, divorces happen, money gets made and lost through words. Even programming is done through words. So from this first part is we understand that in the beginning was the word. Um, is that words and language is kind of a foundational bedrock of human meaning. Um, and through this meaning we kind of make sense of our lives, and our lives come into being through language, because that's how we not only relate to each other, how we understand the world, but also relate to ourselves, how we understand our lives. And so in the beginning was a word, and this is a pretty, I think this is true. This is literally true. That words are kind of the foundational axiom um, of existence. And so the second part is the word was with God. Um, and as a corollary, the word was God. Um, and so this second part, the word was with God and the word was God. And so we can understand how the word having these attributes and the word being God means that God shares these attributes too. Is that God brings meaning to our lives. It means brings purpose, and that God functions within our lives. So God has a functional role within our lives. Things happen because of God. Um, much like language as being the foundational principle of meaning and existence, God shares with language its ability to create meaning, personal narrative, understanding, and things in our lives. Um, okay, and the next passage is, all things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. So basically this says that all things, basically everything, came into being through him, which is God. And I guess he is, in this passage, is about to speak of Jesus Christ. Um, and how come everything came into being through him? What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. So what is light? Light is um, enlightenment, clarity, um, vision. And why is this important? Um, because without light, we cannot see. So if something is not well lit, we're stumbling in the darkness. And so, what is darkness? It is confusion. It is blindness. It is lack of vision. And we know that vision is one of the most important things in anything that we do. If there's no vision, there's no goal, there's no path forward. Um, and so this is kind of interesting that the next passage goes into that because it says that the light shines in the darkness and the darkness did not overcome it. The darkness was overcome by the light, and that light is that which created everything. That that everything was created through God, and God is the Word. And the Word is what has meaning, ultimate meaning. It's what creates and fabricates and renders the world. Um, and that rendering of the world gives our ability to perceive and have vision. Um, that vision has valence because it is meaningful. Um, and so there was a man sent from God whose name was John, obviously the author of the fourth gospel. He came as a witness to testify to the light so that all might believe through him. He himself was not the light, but he came to testify the light. Again, this is how everything coming through God is enlightening, um, because we have meaning, um, and darkness did not prevail over it. Darkness being meaninglessness. Um, he came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. Or um, the true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world. And now he goes on to talk about Jesus of Nazareth, um, and how the word became flesh, and lived among us, which is one of the most radical claims that Christianity has, is that not only did God create everything, and not only was God the ultimate source of meaning, but God instantiated himself into the world, into flesh. And so I just wanted to share this, and I think John is one of the most interesting and profound uh, gospels and authors and uh, witnesses to Christ and God's being. And I just wanted to share this on this January morning. Um, Hopefully, this made some sense. Yeah, God bless.